Greetings and welcome. I'm Lynn Hawkins. I am your host of the BIZ Info Zone show, and you're in the zone where the savvy social entrepreneur gets the news and information, the tools, tips, strategies, and inspiration so that you can express your purpose, plan your next moves, and take your life and your business into the realm of prosperity. And if you're already there, then we're going to help you get to the next one. Today I have got a wonderful guest, and we are going to be talking about the social enterprise business. But even more than that, we're going to actually take a look inside of the social enterprise business, Mind Movies. And I want you to know who I'm talking to today, because in the BIZ Info Zone, not only is it our goal to bring to you the news and information that's going to help you to do bigger and better business, but it's actually going to also give you the opportunity to know who is out there, who's playing large, and who's really making a difference in the world, and that's NATALIE LEDWELL. She's a best-selling author of Never in Your Wildest Dreams. She's an inspiring speaker and host of The Inspiration Show, and she's co-founder of Mind Movies. NATALIE and her team have reached over 2.1 million people around the globe, empowering them to use the same success principles that she herself used to crawl out from under over $120,000 of credit card debt and build a multi-million-dollar company in 4 short years during the worst world economic crisis we've seen in our lifetime. Initially starting to change lives by helping people to visualize a brighter new future by creating their personal digital vision boards or mind movies. She continues to educate many through her incredible popular online programs like the 7 Secrets to Happiness and the Ultimate Success Masterclass. NATALIE is passionately fulfilling her mission of making positive difference in the world by her commitment to donate 10,000 Mind Movies for Kids accounts to her school's curriculum, PD for Kids to underprivileged children in Colombia, South America, and this groundbreaking power of their thoughts, their words, and helps to build their self-esteem to celebrate what makes them unique and different. And boy, what I would have given to have this as I was a kid. So NATALIE, hello, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here on the show. We've talked a lot in the last few weeks, but this is the first time that this audience of savvy social entrepreneurs has gotten to meet you. Say hello and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Oh, wow. What a journey it's been. My goodness. Well, let me just start by saying that I actually have been a serial entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. I actually remember my first career. I left school when I was 15 years old. And my first career was in the fitness industry, and I started managing fitness clubs and running businesses, fitness businesses, when I was 21 years old. Of course, I had no idea what I was doing. I just talked my way into the positions and kind of worked it out as I went. So a lot of my business and management and marketing skills I picked up at the expense of other people and practicing and working things out in other people's businesses, which worked out very well for me. And then after 11 years of a very illustrious career, I met my husband, and we started into what I call 10 years of what I call beige years. I call them beige because they're just like nothing. It's a nothing color. But it was really interesting. Like when I worked in fitness, I actually felt that I was doing something that was making a difference, that I was having a positive impact on people's lives, and I was in this really positive environment. And of course, I got introduced to motivational material. One of my bosses, when I was 21, handed me a set of Brian Tracy cassettes, which how long ago that was. And so, it was such an amazing positive bubble and really expansive, and I was always pushing myself to learn more. And then I entered 10 years of beige. And during that time, I mean, the first business that Glenn and I owned together was a nightclub. for 5 years on the main street in Sydney. We had a 6 a.m. license. It was just crazy times. But we did property development. We had a direct mail house. We had the first bathroom advertising company in Australia. We had coffee franchises, health food businesses, like you name it. We tried everything. But what I realized is during that time is that every time we looked at a new business or a new enterprise, it was like, well, how much is it to invest? What's the return in our investment? Can we make money? And what's our exit strategy? And so this is always the way that we looked at our business. So it was always about the money and always about the bottom line. There was nothing that was fulfilling. There was nothing that was purposeful. It was like we can just get in to make the money and get out. So that's why I kind of call those years beige, because spiritually it was like there was no real, connection there. And I remember in 2006 having a monumental moment of frustration sitting at my home office. I've got my desk, I've got all these bills, and I'm looking at my bank balance. And at the time, Glenn and I had 4 businesses that we were running at the same time and still were slipping back financially. Now, our businesses were doing well, but, Glenn and I, we knew about visualization. We knew about being able to set goals for ourselves. We had a very clear picture of the life we wanted to lead. Possibly we started living it before we could afford it, but, sometimes you've got to do that to step up. And I remember thinking, this is ridiculous. I think I'm missing some vital piece of information here because this is crazy, the amount of work that we're putting in. And then, of course, I came across a little movie called The Secret after that, which actually explained the law of attraction to me for the first time in a way that I understood. And so I'm like, oh, right. And my biggest takeaway from that was that you don't need to know the whole plan. If you keep this clear vision of what it is that you want and you have those visualizations on a regular basis and feel the emotions of what it was like, which was another takeaway from that, of what it's like to already live this future, and then you start to take some action in that direction, then what happens is that things will start to fall into place for you that you could never have planned for in a million years. So until before that time, I only set myself, very safe goals, nothing audacious, because it was like, well, I can't see how it's going to happen. So not long after that, a friend of ours approached us with this little movie that he'd created, and it was a combination of affirmations like PowerPoint slides, photos that he'd downloaded from the internet, and music. And I was like, wow, so it's like a movie version of a vision board. I'm like, this is insane. You have to show me how to do this. And then after that, he approached Glenn and I and said, look, I've got this idea of setting up a website and putting up the instructions so that people around the world can create these movies for themselves. Now, you have to appreciate where we were at the time. Like I said, we had 4 businesses. We needed another business like a hole in the head, and we knew nothing about the internet. So Glenn could hardly turn on a computer. He would do the banking, but I would have to turn the computer on and log him in. And I think he'd maybe sent 2 or 3 emails in his life. And I only ever used the computer for bookkeeping. I never spent any time on the internet, so we knew nothing about it. And but we did understand the power of these movies. And so we're like, and we said to our friend, look, you're going to have to help us in the beginning because we have no idea how we can contribute to this, but we do understand that this is a great idea. And so we filmed this really ghetto video in our living room. We did everything wrong because we had no idea what we were doing. We had commercial music. We had the beginning of, remember the show I Dream of Jeannie, like the little cartoon where she's coming out of the boat? We put that in there. Like everything copyrighted that was wrong we did, but we didn't know any different. And the Secret had just been on Oprah. So to say that the timing was just divine was an understatement. So someone said to us, they said, look, if you copy the keywords that's used for the most popular video about The Secret that's on YouTube and use the same keywords with your video, that's how people will find you. We're like, okay. So I remember day 1, we heard crickets. There was nothing happening. But day 2, we actually made 3 sales. Now, we didn't even know what to charge. We didn't even actually have a product, which, again, completely illegal. You can't do that. But, again, we didn't know. So we're like, we don't even know what to charge for this. Let's just charge $20 because it's not like we're selling anything tangible, because we still had our old paradigm of how to do business. And so we made 3 sales, which was $60. It was the most exciting $60 of our lives because it's like, wait a minute, this is going to work. And so in the beginning, our program or our product was really Camtasia videos or ScreenFlow videos of our friend creating a mind movie using somebody else's software. Like, it was free software that you could download, how to create your PowerPoint slides, how to find photos, and how to put it all together. And that's how we got started. So I remember within 3 months, we were getting so many emails from people going, "This is changing my life." I said to the boys, we have to pay attention to this. This is big. And you know when you have that feeling, when you know that you're on the right track and that it just sparks something in you, I'm like, we need to get serious about this right now because this is making a difference. And I remember we were like, well, how do we do this? How do we do this internet marketing thing? How do we get people to find our website? And then I remember that we realized you can actually buy programs on the internet that taught you how to do that. We're like, oh, revelation, this is amazing. And so we ended up purchasing our first product. It was $2,000. Now, which was a huge investment for us, and we'd never spent that amount of money, but we took a leap of faith and went, look, I think we should invest it. I think it'll be a great idea. I remember we had to, I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning because the card had closed, but he was opening it up for another 20 minutes. Frank Kern was the marketer that actually had this program, which a lot of people in marketing circles know. Had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, purchase the program. It was called Mass Control, and went back to sleep. And then the next morning we got up and we started to implement his marketing idea that he presented in Module 1. Now, we spent $2,000 on that program, and within a week we'd made $6,000 by just implementing one idea from that program.
Wow.
We're like, okay, this guy's a genius. And then he announced he was doing a live event in San Diego, and this is in April 2008. Now, in Glenn's original My Movie, one of his affirmations is that we get to live in an endless summer. And so we decided to commit to 6 months in California and 6 months in Sydney. Endless summer. So we came over in April 2008, and I said to Glenn on the plane on the way over, I said, right, we need to meet this Frank guy and somehow convince him to mentor us because he's a genius. Then we need to meet other people that are also marketers, and we need to immerse ourselves in this world and surround ourselves with people that will be able to educate us and support us and just be in this bubble. And so we joined Frank's mastermind group that he announced at that event. And got introduced to a whole bunch of marketers, spent 6 months of working our butts off to get to the launch period. So the launch was scheduled for September 2008. We had everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong in that launch. We had our list or our database went from 8,000 to 80,000 in a week. So our email provider closed down our account because I thought we must have been doing something illegal. So we had to get that reinstated halfway through there. They actually closed down for maintenance the morning of our launch. And so we had 3,000 customer support emails by lunchtime on the first day because no one was getting the confirmation emails that they'd purchased the program. Our payment gateway, which we won't name, actually also freaked out on us. They closed our account halfway through our launch week because they could see all this activity. And the other thing that was going on that we had, of course, could never have planned for was that this was the week that the economic crisis hit the planet. So the morning of the launch, I remember looking at the credit card statements and seeing $120,000, just over $120,000. Now, this is on top of our mortgage and car payments and everything else that we've got. We ended up doing a $700,000 week.
Wow.
Selling a $97 product with nothing else, no upsells or no additives. It was just pure $97. But because of everything that was happening economically around the world, our payment gateway decided to freeze our account. So we were able to get enough money released to pay part of the team and to pay for postage. They froze $500,000, and after 6 months, we finally got lawyers involved, and we got them to release the funds. But in that time, we weren't able to pay our affiliates what we owed them in commission. We were trying to keep our head above water with paying minimum repayments on $120,000 of credit card debt, and we nearly went bankrupt in the process. So through all of this, it was like there are so many things that happened that could have completely derailed, My Movies and this whole idea. But, you know, for us, we were so focused on our end result. We knew it was making a difference. It was something that we felt so passionately about, and we just would not accept that failure was going to be an option. So we did everything that we could to make sure that that we built the fan, and that was really the foundation for what we built today. So now we have over 1 million people in our community. We just released My Movies 4.0. And we, like you said, we've reached 2.1 million people around the world, and now we get to do amazing projects like working with 10,000 underprivileged children in Colombia, and that's just the beginning. So it's really helped us through all of that pain and heartache to be able to create an amazing, you know, heart-centered business that we have today.
That is amazing. And I have to tell you that I was one of those My Movies 1.0 purchasers.
Yes.
And from my standpoint, it was very clear what My Movies was doing. And I have to tell you, I didn't even think twice about seeing anything disrupt the flow of that information coming to me. So I don't know if I was, you know, closer to the end of all of that or what, but what I saw was some amazing things in my life. And I still play my first video that I made myself, which just, you know, had some of my favorite music added to it, some of the videos, and being able to put your own words to it was really, and then I think the passion that I felt at that point in time was the beginning of a lot of the things that have brought me to this place 4 years later. So for all that you endured and went through, thank you. Because I am one on the other side who sees that, you know, well, actually a couple of things. The first being, as you have gone through this process of building business, handling those challenges, and knowing that there was a reason beyond what it is that you were experiencing that kept you going, I really believe that that's the heart of a social entrepreneur. That really is the heart of a social entrepreneur, knowing that there's something bigger than whatever it is that I'm experiencing right now. I've got to keep going. One of my favorite mentors often says, don't give up. Just don't ever give up. And you'll prove so many things to yourself in the process, and one of them is your plan. So, you know, with that thought in mind, tell us about your plan. Did you have your plan established to think that you might be here today doing what you're doing when you first started out?
No. So let me tell you a little bit about, I mean, so of course the first launch, it was like, we just want to launch My Movies to the world. We want to learn what we have to learn. Okay, did we ever imagine in a million years? Actually, here's another part of that story that I need to express to you as well, because, you know, we did create a My Movie for that launch. We talked about the size of our community, the type of customer we were attracting, what the business was looking like, and we also set ourselves a goal of $1 million for that launch. Now, the reason we set that amount was because everyone around us was doing $1 million launches. But of course, these are all marketers that have $2,000 to $5,000 programs. We had a $97 program. So, you know, no one told us that we couldn't do it. But the plan was, and our vision was, well, let's do $1 million. So after 6 months of holding our funds, because of the economic crisis, and because we were living in Australia for that second part of the year, when we got the money back to Australia, because the US dollar was so weak, we earned over $200,000 just in the exchange rate getting the money back to Australia. So we did just under $1 million. So it's incredible how when you set this higher vision for yourself, how sometimes that will manifest in ways that you couldn't have planned for. Now, when it comes to our business plan, we always have an idea of the new programs that we're going to be creating, the vision for the year, and we also set ourselves a monetary target. And of course, you know, we say, okay, we always want to be able to be building the business at a certain percentage each year. And to be honest with you, each year we've been able to reach those targets, except for the year that we went from that original 1.0 version to building the software and creating the software. It took us over a year to get that done. Over $100,000 invested in that, and of course, we're always upgrading that. But that was like a building year, and we were able to go, okay, well, and we anticipated that. So each year it's like, okay, this is the percentage that we're going to be working towards. So at the beginning of the year, we sit down and go, right, we have a very lofty goal this year, and actually it's the first time I've set one. I'm like, with Glenn, I'm like, okay, like if we hit this, it's going to be amazing, but this is really stretching us, because every year it was kind of like, well, let's do an extra couple of million or whatever that is, but this year it's huge. So it's like, okay, we know that we can have a certain plan, which we do, and there are certain things that we've already implemented, and it's only February, to be able to bring that to fruition. But the thing is, we always know that despite the plans that we lay, there are going to be some things that come into play that are going to completely blow our mind, that are not going to be part of the plan, because we have to keep ourselves open to the other opportunities and the other things that are coming our way. Now, one of the things that are coming up this year is I've been approached to host a new TV show, which is called Wake Up TV, and it's a consciously aware talk show where we can talk about real issues and talk about it from a very aware and conscious mindset. And it's predominantly for women, and we'll be talking about business and finances, but as well as, health and other things that are related to us. Now, we have no idea how this is going to affect our business, but we do know that it's going to have a positive effect. We have other things that we've already planned now, but again, who knows where the year will lead. But the thing is, we do have, like I said, certain things that we have in plan, but then we have to keep our mind open to all the other amazing opportunities and things that come along that are going to help us blow that completely out of the water.
I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of people set those goals but hold to those goals. They don't open themselves up to the fact that there are possibilities beyond whatever those goals are. And so I love that you brought that in. What inspired the plan for growing Mind Movies into now being recognized as a viable and really a grassroots social enterprise? How did that, I mean, you said that you started out always really feeling your heart in the work that you were doing because you knew you were making a difference in the world. How did you turn the corner to infuse that into what Mind Movies was going to do and is now doing?
Yeah. I think that, when I described that moment of frustration, and it wasn't just frustration at our financial situation. It was also my personal frustration as like I'm working so hard. I was working, so many hours, and of course we were in traditional style businesses where if we didn't show up, we didn't earn the money. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way than doing it this way. Like this is ridiculous. And I also felt, and I couldn't identify it at the time, but spiritually I was just like, I was just numb, to be honest with you, because of all the different business choices that we'd made. But when the idea and the opportunity came along to create this website with Mind Movies, like I still remember the moment that our friend showed us his Mind Movie that he created. I remember the rush that I felt in my body when I watched this. And believe me, his Mind Movie, he was a young single guy. He had girls in bikinis and things that do not resonate with me at all. But I recognized, it's like my soul was going, hello, 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 take notice of this because this is really important. And even though the first year or two that we were building that business and building that foundation, then especially that last 3 months leading up to that launch, we were working 14-hour days from our bedroom. We were eating junk food. We were not exercising. We had to learn skills. Like we're 40. Well, I'm 40 at the time. We had to learn how to edit video. And I've never, like, remember, my computer skills are limited to MYOB, which is a bookkeeping software, and Word. and a little bit of Excel. I remember the day our friend came in and he showed me this this software. He goes, okay, I need you to learn how to edit videos. So I'm like, okay. So I open up this program and I'm looking at it going, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. But you know what? We had no choice. We didn't have the money to pay anyone, so we had to step up and do it. So even through all of that, and how we were so stressed and putting on weight and just foggy and just dreadful, I still had this spark in my heart, knowing that we were doing the right thing and that it was all going to be worth it, and holding that vision of that. And I think the only reason I really recognize that is because of the experience I had when I worked in the fitness industry, because I knew what it was like to have this amazing job where I would get up every morning and I was so excited. And like I used to get up at like 5 in the morning, go and open up the gym at 6 a.m. and be like this super happy person, working for 8 hours and just being ridiculously happy, but feeling fulfilled. And of course, because I'd had that experience before, I think that's why I very quickly recognized that despite our whole reality going, this is not going to work, I kept my eye on the prize and kept my vision on that. So, of course, after we did that first launch, we came back to the US the next year, we were able to, pay for some employees to look after some of the other, the regular tasks, so I could go, okay, well, what are my gifts and how can I contribute that to this business to really get this message out into the world? And so every year it's like, well, how do I step up and do that in a bigger and better way? And I do it for 2 reasons. Number one, I do it because I really do want to make a difference, and it really makes my heart sing. But second, I do it for the challenge in a way. Like I often like to say yes to projects that I may not have any idea about how I'm going to complete, but knowing that it's the right thing to do, and then really stepping outside my comfort zone and challenging myself to do that. The children's program in Colombia is a prime example of this. That whole situation, how that came about is we have a friend of ours who lives in Colombia, in Medellin. He's English, and his girlfriend has all these government connections. And he's talking to this guy called Mario, who is the dean of a university in Medellin. Now, Medellin is the city that used to be the most violent city in the world, because this is where all the cartels were operating out of. And now it's the most progressive city in the world. And they're really in this energy of building infrastructure and changing everyone's mindset to be in, a more positive mindset. So when my friend told Mario about My Movies for Kids, he's like, we must have this in our schools. So next thing you know, I'm on a phone call with my friend and Mario. We're chatting away, and he's like, could we have the software for our children? I go, sure. And he said, can you donate some accounts? I'm like, great. How many would you like? And anyway, in the end, we committed to donating 10,000 accounts to be completely used in 2015. So we want to reach that many children in this year. Then he said, look, can you create a curriculum for the children? I'm like, sure. I'm like, yes. I go, what age are the children? He said between 6 and 12. I'm like, okay. And I said, so how many lessons? He said 12 lessons. He said, oh, and can you also add something for the parents so that we can introduce the families to these principles as well? I'm like, yes, I can do that. And I said, when do you need it? He said, if we have it by the beginning of October, we can start training the teachers. So that was like 2.5 weeks. Oh. I'm like, sure, no problem. And I hang up the phone and go, I have no idea how to do this. I'm like, but you know what? I couldn't say no. Yeah. I couldn't say no to this amazing opportunity. So, of course, that night I'm making a My Movie, so laying everything out. And every day before I started to work on this project, I would be visualizing. I could see myself in the classroom, meeting the kids, having the teachers crying, telling about how it's changing their life. I could even see into the future and see these children as young adults, explaining how this information changed their life. So I would do that every time before I went to sit down. So I had a teacher friend send me the outline of what a regular lesson looks like. So at least I'm thinking, I've got a bit of a clue. And so then I laid out the lessons, and I called my copywriter. And I said, okay, Timmy, I need you to help me here. I said, can you flesh this out with words so that it'll be faster for me to tweak your words than it will be for me to come up with everything from scratch? And he said, absolutely. He said, how much time we got? I go, got 2 weeks. He goes, all right. He goes, well, you know, we've got a secret weapon. I go, what's that? He said, my wife is a teacher, and she specializes in early age curriculums. I'm like, of course she does, because that's exactly what I need right now. So, you know, that's like I think when it comes to stepping into your purpose, a lot of the times we say yes to things that scare the hell out of us. But to me, that is what life is all about, and that's how we show up and step up and become that example, not just for the people that we have in our lives and maybe the team that we have in our business, but to show the example and the possibility that anyone else can do the same thing. So, yeah. That's the big Columbia project that I'm very excited about.
Well, I'm excited about it too, and it kind of reminds me of the project that we're doing that you too are participating in with the Permission to be Powerful book and the Permission Movement. It is truly about giving ourselves permission to not just be powerful, but to see the limitations and reach beyond them, to decide that there is something more, to reach for and reach for it, to know that it scares the hell out of you, but that's okay, because and the truth is, whatever you need will show up, will provide itself to you. But the key is believing. Now, translate that for the business enterprise that's been, in this paradigm of doing business that's about revenue, that this person is very much feeling like you were, that something's missing, they can't really identify it. What are some of the things that they can do proactively to open themselves up, to allow these opportunities to show up for them? Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I think the whole reason this whole journey started is because when I was having that frustrating moment in 2006, I, without realizing I was doing it, was setting a very strong intention that I wanted the answer. I'm like, I need the answer. I've identified I'm missing something. I don't know what it is, but I need to find this answer. And I also was saying to myself, when I find this answer, whatever it is, I'm going to scream it from the rooftops, because no one should have to struggle like this, because this is ridiculous. And so I set a very strong intention that this is what I wanted to create. So it all starts with that. Setting that intention that, if what you want it to do is just feel better about what it is that you do, if what you want to do is to feel more passionate, to reach more people, to make a bigger difference. See, the thing is, like I said, that whole time when we were going through all those challenges, the thing that can keep you going above anything else is having a reason or a why that is bigger than you. That's extrinsic, that's outside of you. That, for most of us, especially women, we'll do everything for everybody else before we do it for ourselves. But if you can identify a cause or a charity or something that really speaks to you, and then focus on that and use that as your burning motivation to be able to take your life and your business, your family, everything to the next level, then I really highly recommend that you do that, because it completely changes how you approach everything. Because now it's not like, oh my God, I have to do another hour at work and I've got this person and they're being really difficult and I don't want to deal with this person, to, oh my God, by being able to spend another hour with this person, this is another so many dollars that I can donate to help a child eat tomorrow, or to feed a homeless person, or whatever it is that you choose to do. So everything that you do comes from a completely different energy and a different intention. So even if you're not clear about what it is that, like I wasn't, I'm like, I don't know. I actually wasn't, and believe me, and I listened to all the tapes and went to the seminars, but I still didn't really understand the law of attraction the way that it was presented to me. And of course, it came very quickly after I had set that intention. So always set a very strong intention first. And it could be as broad and as, as nondescript as, my intention is to reach more people, to make a bigger difference in the world, and to involve my family in a project that we can all be involved with, or to involve my team in a project that we can all get involved with that's going to really make a difference in the world. It could be as broad as that. And there are a million different ways that that can manifest for you. And believe me, the way that it will manifest for you will probably blow your mind, as it always does, because things never really happen the way that you think. They happen way better than that. So even if you set an intention like that, even if it's like, I want to reach more people in my local community, whatever it is, but set that intention first. And for me, whenever I set a new intention, I always type it out, I stick it on my mirror. So in the mornings when I get up in the morning, it reminds me of what my intention is. And I get to live on my own, so I can do this without feeling embarrassed about it, but I will look at myself in the mirror, in the eyes, and I will recite my intention statement to myself with such resolve and with such conviction that even I believe it's going to happen. And of course, that sets the whole process in motion. That strong intention sometimes is all you need for things to start to fall into place, especially if you're someone who maintains a fairly high vibration on a very consistent basis, because it's all about the vibration. Actually, as you know, we're sort of in the middle of a 4.0, My Movies 4.0 release or launch at the moment, and I did a 2.5-hour live broadcast last night, and we had Bob Proctor was my first guest, and then we had Sonia Ricotti, and then we had Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, there are 3 people from very different, backgrounds, but every single one of them said the same thing. It's all about a vibration. It's all about what it is that we're putting out. So that when we are having this constant visualization and seeing in our mind what it is that we want, and we're feeling the emotions of already being this successful person, of already being this philanthropic person, of already having this incredible life where we get to travel with our kids, and kids go off to college, and we get to spend time with the people that we love, or whatever it is that it is for you that is your measure of success. The longer that we can do that, and the longer we can sit in that, and take actions that are in alignment with that as well, the more we are a vibrational match, and we're vibrating at the same level as those things that we want to attract. So the more that we can do that, the better that is. So, start with your intention, get a clear vision of what that is, and then start to take some action towards that. Now, you may start with something really small. We were just, and believe me, like the Colombian project, it is so random. It's so random how this has come to play. But what was really interesting was that, and this is kind of a little bit, sidebar, but 3 weeks before that, I actually won a session to go and see a woman who's a channel. She channels, your spirit guides. Now, I never normally go into things like that, but I won it. So I'm like, okay, I'll go along. This will be interesting. And, you get to ask questions. And so I asked my spirit guides about this My Movies for Kids program, because I created it but didn't know what to do with it. And they said, look, because I said, am I building it for someone else to run with, or am I going to do it myself? They said both. They go, but you must focus on the non-profit side first, and everything else will fall into place. And that was 3 weeks before I was on this phone call, and all of this came into play. And I hadn't actually put any conscious effort into it, but I'm like, I did set an intention to go, right, well, the first time I've got to keep my eyes and, my awareness open to any opportunity where I can actually donate these accounts. And then, and that's not just like donate like 20 accounts. This is 10,000. And 10,000 isn't just, a ripple of change. This is a tsunami of change that's going to affect generations. So, and of course, we've had emails from South Africa and from Venezuela, and I've been talking to, I had meetings when I was back in Australia, talking to people who have connections with the Aboriginal communities there. Like, we want to, this is, getting in on the grassroots, because I spent a lot of my time working with adults and doing all the stuff that we picked up when we were children. So I'm thinking, well, let's just get straight to the source. Let's just get in and incorporate some habits and some positive ways of thinking and tools to be able to cope with challenges now, so that, this will carry through to children's lives and for generations to come.
That's amazing. I love that. And you know, I am so in the space of thinking like that. And that is actually what we focus on at the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, helping existing enterprises to see and incorporate that philanthropy, that causal purpose, infuse that into their business so that they can see beyond what the small bubble is,
Yeah.
and do more business because of it. One of the clients that I was working with said, you know, I my both of my parents suffer from Alzheimer's. I'm very active in my local Alzheimer's chapter, and I want to grow my business. I need to do more business. How can I connect the two? Had no idea. I said, well, you can do a number of things, actually. Something from as big as, you know, taking your monthly income, take a percentage of it, gift it to the organization, or something as small as put their emblem on your website, a clickable link to get to them and promote them. As you're sending out your monthly newsletter, promote them. Let people know that you are supporting them. They don't need to know the details unless you want them to. But of course, to know that you're associated with something. I even had another client who said that one of their newest customers actually came to them and said, I saw that you support such and such, and because of that, I left who I was working with before, and I'm going to do business with you. That even happens. And that's what increases revenue. That's what gives you the opportunity to do more business, do more good business, and bring more great clients in so that you can do even more. You know, what you are doing with my movies is just amazing. And I want more people to be exposed to my movies. I know what it's done for me. I would not be here now had my movies not been a part of my life for the last 4 years. And while we are, in fact, the onion, and we are peeling off parts of the onion to get to the spots, the places where we can really say, okay, I'm ready now, let me just take that leap forward. And it ends up really being a leap. I mean, with what it is that you described, I love that. I saw the leaps. You know, stepping out of your comfort zone is not just a step. It can be a leap sometimes. With what it is you're talking about with the school in Columbia, that was a leap. And it's so great to see people like you who have done this kind of thing. The normal things that come to you because of just wanting to make a difference in the world and doing business in that manner, and then still having to leap into something that is yet outside of that bubble range that you can see. And people seeing that then start to think, okay, maybe that is possible for me too. And maybe my movies is something that can help me. So help me to invite people in to take advantage of what it is that we have for them today, because you've brought to us some amazing gifts, and I want to share it.
Well, the first gift that we've actually brought to you is 6 pre-made My Movies. These My Movies have already been created for you. Now, the cool thing about these is that you can download them straight away to your computer. Once you have them on your computer, because they're either a MOV file if you've got a Mac or a WMV file if you've got a PC, you can then download them to your phone or your tablet, regardless of whether it's iPhone or Android. It doesn't matter. So we've got formats for both. Now, here is the cool thing about a My Movie. First of all, it really helps you to put yourself in the picture. You know, the powerful thing is that we've got your affirmation. So we're talking about this future as if it's already happening in present tense, using the right language, which is really important. So that when you watch this movie and then you start to build this picture in your mind, you're building it as if it's already happening. So that makes it very easy for you to do that. Obviously, the pictures that we put in there as well helps to give your brain an image to build from. But, of course, the addition of music is like, I mean, that's the secret sauce, you know, because the thing is that when it comes to visualization, it's really important that we feel the emotion of having that, already living that life. because emotion is energy, and energy and vibration is the language that the universe understands. And we need to be resonating out, so we need to feel that emotion. So you can be, like I always recommend watching the mind movies first thing in the morning or early in the morning, and then again in the evening, because whatever we put in our minds in the last 10 minutes before we go to sleep is really what our subconscious mind is mulling over all night. So you can start instantly using these mind movies. And they're all on different subjects, like, you know, we're looking at health, we're looking at wealth, love, whether it's a partnership, or whether it's with family and friends. We're looking at all the gamut here, so that we've covered every subject for you to do that and start working straight away. So that's the gift that we have for you. And would you like me to give the URL for that, Lynn?
The URL for our audience is skyhawkenterprises.biz mind movies.
Beautiful. Excellent. And then we also put together like a very special offer as well, for the people that are part of this community. And as I said, we've just releasing 4.0 right now, so the paint is still wet, so to say, on the program. But we wanted to offer you access to Mind Movies 4.0. Now, what this is software to make it very easy for you to create your own Mind Movies. So once you start watching the pre-made Mind Movies, what happens is it starts to give you ideas of what your interpretation of wealth is, or what your interpretation of health is, and how you want to live that life. You know, when we're talking about manifesting or visualizing wealth, or a successful business, I mean, we're not actually visualizing a pile of cash, because that's not inciting any emotion. What we're visualizing is what that means to us. You know, for me, I actually reached a milestone this week, and in one of my mind movies that I did for this year, because I do a new one for every year, is that I wanted to have a personal chef, because I want to eat healthy, but I don't have the time to do it. So as we speak upstairs, I have a gentleman that's up there that's preparing meals for the next few days for me. He's doing like a paleo. He specializes in paleo and bulletproof diets, which is awesome, which is exactly what I wanted. And it was so funny because I just had the conversation with him, and he was just saying, I was just saying to my girlfriend last week, I want to attract clients that want to eat paleo and bulletproof diet. And he goes, and then you called me. And I'm like, that's how it works. So with the software, you get when you go inside, there's a whole library of affirmations, photos, and music already in there. So all you need to do is drag and drop, create your own movie. For me, it takes less than 30 minutes. And then you've got your own personalized mind movie. So whereas you may have the general one, which is the pre-made, you can now do something more personal. And with the incredible new upgrades to the software now, you can add video to your mind movies, and we have some subliminal tracks. So if you're creating a wealth mind movie, you can now add a subliminal track to it, which consciously you can't hear, but subconsciously you can, which is laced with millions of affirmations that are going straight into your subconscious mind and programming you for success. So when we say that you have access to the software, it means that you have lifetime access to make as many mind movies as you like. Now, also included in this package is my 7 Secrets to Happiness course. This is the course I actually created after the huge success of the Mind Movies launch in 2008. And I actually blew out to a size 14, and I wanted to lose weight in time for my birthday. And so I, in 7 weeks, was able to apply the same principles from the launch to my weight loss goal. So they're all outlined in that 7 Secrets to Happiness course. And then we also have over $1,000 worth of bonuses from people like Bob Proctor, Bob Doyle, Joe Vitale, all of our friends in the industry. So it's over $1,300 worth of value between my movies, 7 Secrets to Happiness, and the bonuses. And we want to offer it to your community, Lynn, for just $97.
Thank you so much. I have to say that, you know, I talked about being a part of the community. This is my little mini iPod with the 7 Secrets of Happiness on it.
There you go.
That had more room, and I added other stuff to it too. And I often walk around with this today. And I also, Natalie, I want to make sure that people know what the link is to get to this wonderful offer, and it is skyhawkenterprises.biz/Mind Movies 4.0. and you'll be able to get right to the offer. It is so generous of you. And, you know, I went on to do so much more in my life, my career, my business, building my business, shifting my business to the amazing space that I'm in right now, which is, in fact, Dean and founder of the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship. And while I thought that I really wanted to do business coaching, and, you know, my background is commercial real estate lending. And I had the fortunate opportunity to also learn to write grants. My mom wrote a grant and I helped her. So at 17, I wrote my first grant. The program that she worked to get funded way back then, parts are still going on right now. And for me, the whole thing around philanthropy and helping others has been something ingrained in my DNA. But I too was missing the connection until I got into my coaching business and said, you know, something's missing, and I'm talking to these business owners about doing more in their business, and have they thought about this? Or I'm working with someone who wants grant funding or wants to do some things around sponsorships, yet they don't get the whole concept of even this is a business. And so when it settled that the Academy was my next mission, it was also in the throes of this book project and this literacy and authorship outreach project. And I just want to say thank you to you for being such an inspiration to me in my lifetime and in my journey to get to where I am today. And Mind Movies has been such an incredible piece of it. To our audience, those links again, skyhawkenterprises.biz/Mind Movies for the bonus. Grab your 6 Mind Movies, attraction and health and wealth, and yes, get them all. And then for Mind Movies 4.0, you want to go to skyhawkenterprises.biz/Mind Movies 4.0. And that's 4.0. So Natalie, you know, as we are kind of wrapping up here, please do me the favor of telling our audience, you know, what is one of the biggest takeaways from expanding into the social enterprise that now you see you're impacting not just the world and the world of adults where Mind Movies is concerned, but now you're able to reach into elevate the status and the mindsets of the little ones who are someday going to be our future leaders?
You know, the internet has been a complete game changer, for not just for my life, but for our business and the message that we're able to do. It reaches you into countries and into different areas that, you know, you probably never thought was possible before. You know, which is even more mind-blowing because I'm from Australia. We're the island at the bottom of the world that's so isolated from everywhere else. And of course, the internet actually opened up the world to us. And for me, I think every year, like I said, I step outside of my comfort zone. But what I'm really realizing, the more that I do that, and the more that I actually start to achieve these new goals, it really helps to build my belief muscle that there is no goal too big that cannot be achieved. And I don't mean achieved on my own. I mean, we at Mind Movies have the most amazing team. I'm so grateful because, you know, when it goes into a launch or something like this, you know, it requires a lot of effort on their part, a lot of work. They put months of work in because, believe me, we've been testing and putting things together months before we even get to this point. And they're so dedicated to that. But, you know, there is no goal that's too big that you cannot achieve. And when you can reach out to the right people or surround yourself with the right people, there is nothing that you can't do. And now I've really started to realize that, and our business now, you know, we can reach people in the smallest corners around the world. And I really, you know, encourage you to to think about what that possibility might be and just to step into it, and really take that to the next level.
Wow. Thank you so much, Natalie. This was amazing. It's just renewed my faith in the possibilities. And I was talking to a friend of mine just yesterday, and saying 2015 is the year of 8. You know, 2 and 1 and 5 equals 8. And 8 is the symbol of infinity and infinite possibilities, infinite potential. And when you live in that space of knowing that there is no goal that is too small, not even thinking, you know, well, I didn't hit it this year, you could very well surpass it before the end of the next year. So, you know, it's also important to know to not give up. If your dreams have been something planted in your heart and the seeds of your dream have grown from your heart, they are worth pursuing. They are worth going after with the fervor and the tenacity and the perseverance that no one will be able to stop you. And that's where my movies can help you, because you can have that support subliminally and visually. You'll be able to taste it as you feel it in accomplishing those goals. So thank you for being one who has set such audacious goals for yourself, even though you didn't think you did, and moving forward to get them done, because Natalie, you're inspiring so many people, and I'm so grateful to be a part now of your live world and you a part of mine. There's so much ahead of us, and I'm so excited to see what is yet to come.
Me
So
too.
thank you. Thank you to our audience for joining us today. My name is Lynn Hawkins. I'm the Dean and founder of the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, a Skyhawk Enterprises company, and I am just thrilled that you joined us today. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful. Do more business, earn more money so you can do more good in the world. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next week for another show. Bye for now.